Ryan here. Alright, gonna be doing the Philadelphia Flyers season preview today. I'm sorry ahead of time if you hear in the background, I have a new puppy at home that I'm watching, so she might be barking, trying to play or something like that, so I'm sorry if you hear her. It's just her playing. Alright, other than that, if you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing and thank you for watching. If you're not a subscriber, thank you for watching as well, but if you'd be so kind as to hit that subscribe button, help me out by hitting that and hitting the notification bell. That way you know when I drop the next video. That way you can catch any videos I drop here. And outside of that, here we go with the Philadelphia Flyers season preview. They did not add a whole lot this offseason. They really didn't need to. They had a good solid team that they didn't really have to make a whole lot of changes to. They added defensive depth with Derek Pouliot, 1 year, $700,000. He's probably going to be on taxi squad for the most part. Eric Gustafsson, they added. He played for Chicago and Calgary last year. 1 year, $3 million. Could be a good offensive defensive add, especially if they were to finally pull the trigger on that Shane Gostisbehere trade. That would be, I'm sure, make them very happy to get rid of him finally. I mean, it's not that he's a bad player, it's just they've been trying and he's the odd man out when it comes to defenders, so he could get a good return because he's nice and young, and he's an offensive defender, so they could get something for him. Alright, Subtractions. Probably the biggest... Oh, it went on. Why did it go on? There we go. Probably the biggest loss they had was Tyler Pitlick, who went to Arizona. Derek Grant, maybe, to Anaheim. Those were good, solid third, fourth liners for him last year. I know they traded for Grant at the deadline, but he seemed like he was doing well for him when they came back to play. Andy Welinski went to Anaheim. That was a minor league defender. I should say returned to Anaheim because that was the team that originally had him, so he went back. Nate Thompson went to Winnipeg. A good, solid fourth liner there, too, so that one, I wouldn't say that one hurts necessarily, but it's a good veteran fourth liner for sure that they lost there. Curtis Gabriel to San Jose. He played a couple of games. I think he got knocked out in a fight. There's the dog right there. She's trying to get the little puppy is trying to get the Rottweiler's food. That's why you're going to hear her barking. Curtis Gabriel, I want to say he got hurt last year. I think he got knocked out in a fight or something like that, or hurt his wrist in a fight. I can't remember, but he got hurt last year and didn't really pan out, or was it leg injury or some type? It was some injury that caused him to not play much last year. Chris Stewart, last I saw as of this video, is a free agent. And Matt Niskanen retired, which honestly, out of all of them, I think Niskanen is probably the one that's going to have the largest effect on the team. Because he was a good, solid defender for him, especially when they came back to play last season. Well, I guess it is last year now. Resigned. Let's see. They re-signed Philip Myers, 3 years, $2.55 million per season. Brian Elliott, the backup goalie, most likely. Sometimes starter. 1 year, $1.5 million. Robert Hagg, 2 year, $1.6 million. $1.6 million per. Why did I say 2.6? Alex Lyon, 1 year, $700,000. Nicholas Aube-Kubel, 2 year, $1.075 million per. And Oscar Lindblom, 3 year, $3 million per season. Hopefully he actually gets to play more this year after I want to say it was a blood cancer he had last year. So hopefully he gets to play more this year. I know he came back in the playing round for a few games, so it's nice that he's back healthy. I believe they said he was in remission, which is really good to hear. So hopefully he gets to play and get back to it this year. Alright, salary cap situation. This is rare for the Flyers since the salary cap came around, but they have cap space. Especially when they're a good team. To have cap space, that's a good thing. I mean, it's not a ton of cap space, but there is cap space. They're at $79.2 million, which puts them at basically $2.2 million in cap space. I mean, they aren't going to pick up any, first line scoring guys or anything like that, but they can pick up somebody. a good solid depth forward or defender if they needed to. Alright, this is where their contracts sit with their forwards. They got 2 more years of Giroux. We'll see what he gets in 2 years. Jakub Voracek, I guess they were trying to, from what I understand, they tried to trade him last year at the trade deadline, just it fell through at the last minute. And I think it surprised him, surprised everyone, honestly. I don't think anybody expected that one. Kevin Hayes, the big contract they signed last offseason. James Van Riemsdyk is, when it comes to Seattle, I think that's the guy they're going to try and get Seattle to take right there, get that $7 million off their books. Travis Konechny, 5.5 for the next few years. Sean Couturier, 2 more years till he's a UFA, so it's going to be a big UFA year for them, at least cost-wise. Scott Lawton, he's a UFA after this year. Michael Raffle, a UFA after this year. And Joel Farabee looked like a good, solid player last year, so that's going to be a good contract for next 2 years. All right. On the defensive side, Provorov, they got signed for five years. Shane Gostisbehere. God, why do I have a hard time with that guy's name? $4.5 million for 3 years. Like I said, I am not a wizard with the names. I'm the type of person I remember people's faces. I don't remember their names. I remember most of these guys' names, but some of them are just harder to say than others. Alright, Travis Sanheim is a RFA with arbitration rights after this year. Eric Gustafsson is a UFA after this year. Philip Myers, you got for 3 years. He just re-signed. Justin Braun for 2 years, but a cheap deal. Robert Hagg, 2 more years. Brian Elliott is a UFA after this year in the goalies. And Carter Hart is a RFA. Carter Hart, if he has another great year, that's going to be a lot of money he's going to be making after this year. And from what I understand, even though they have him listed as injured, from what I understand, Nolan Patrick has been given the go-ahead to play this year. So that could be huge for this team if he can go back to... I mean, he didn't play all last year because of that migraine disorder that he has. So, I mean, that's basically like a year and a half to 2 years this guy has not played a game of hockey. Even practice, from what I understand. So... it's going to take him a little while to get back into the groove of things, but if he can go back to being that number 2 overall pick that he was, and he is only 22, so he could be a huge addition to this team. But at the same time, he's an RFA after this year, so it's like if you're a Flyers fan in your head, it's like you want him to do really good, but if he does too good, that money's going to be too high and cost you later. So if he has a bit of a down year getting back into the swing of things and signs a cheap contract after this year, that may be a really good option. And Samuel Morin, who is also injured, a defender, normally would be playing up, I'm sure, is RFA after this year as well. Now, buyout history, they have Ilya Bryzgalov, which I believe was a compliance buyout, which means he doesn't count against the cap, but they're still paying him for a foreseeable future, one way or the other. Andrew McDonald has 1 year left on his buyout, $1.9 million, and David Schlemko, same thing. So next year they're gaining $2.5 million in cap space, which will be nice because they have quite a few guys who might take up some more money. All right, then technically Matt Niskanen retired. But technically, I guess, according to this, he is suspended without pay because he's refusing to go back to play. So, he's not costing anything against their cap, but this is how they're technically wording his situation. But he's a UFA after this year, so he's off the books anyways. Alright, now non-roster forwards. You got Tyson Forster, who might play this year, but he's also junior eligible, so he might go back to juniors if they actually play. Morgan Frost may play some this year. You got German Robstoff. He is RFA. Sinus Sandin is RFA. Pascal LeBurge is RFA. Isaac Ratcliffe is a guy who might have been able to play this year and is one of their top prospects, but he is injured as of last I saw. Earlier today I saw that report. Carson Twarnski is RFA. David Kasha is a RFA. Andy Andreoff is a UFA. Connor Bunneman is a RFA. Interesting name. But, what are you doing, puppy? No. You cannot go back there where my cords are. I don't trust you not to chew on them. Alright, defensive-wise, let's see. For non-rosters, they got Nate Prosser, who's a UFA after this year, and same with Derek Pouliot and Tyler Witherspoon. RFA-wise, they got Chris Bigras, or Bigras. I'm not sure which way he goes with saying that one. Non-roster goalies, they got Felix Sandstrom, RFA, and Alex Lyon, a UFA. So, that's where you sit with contracts. Let's see. Draft. This year they drafted Tyson Forster. So, if he has a really good camp, maybe he does play. Maybe he doesn't. But my guess is he's probably going to be sent back to juniors, even though they aren't really playing a whole lot of them. Emile Andre, a defender, from what I remember from the draft, watching the TSN feed, they were saying he fell down in the draft a bit. Not a whole lot, but a bit. So that could be a definite help for them in the future. Zaid Wisdom. Awesome name, by the way. Center at number 94. Number 135, Elliot Desnoyers. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm sorry ahead of time. Left wing. And number 178, Connor McLennan, a right winger. Alright, so this is where they sit with draft picks. They have all their draft picks for the next 2 years except their 5th round pick this year. That's the only one they're missing. They don't have anybody else's. That's where they sit. Alright, lineup-wise, they got first line, Claude Giroux, Kevin Hayes, and Joel Farabee. Pretty solid line, especially Farabee can improve upon last year, hopefully. Let's see. Giroux's been down the last few years. I mean, he's still a solid player, but 53 points in 69 games seems low for him. Kevin Hayes, 41. That's about right. A little bit more probably would be nice, I'm sure. Second line, Oscar Lindblom, Sean Couturier, and Travis Konechny. Konechny had an amazing year last year. If he can build upon that, make it even more, that'd be great. Same with Couturier. Couturier took a few years to show his offensive abilities. He was great defensively, but he's finally showing that offensive ability that everybody had hoped would develop. Alright, third line, James Van Riemsdyk. Definitely not the numbers you want from a $7 million a year contract, but still a solid third line offensive guy for them at this point. Like I said, Seattle may be getting him. Nolan Patrick, like I said, did not play last year. Hopefully he can get back into the groove of things pretty quick. Jakub Voracek used to be first liner, so it's kind of interesting to see him down there. But it spreads out the offense. It makes sense. 56 points, still a solid year for him. Michael Raffle on the fourth line, Scott Lawton, and Nicholas Abe-Kubel. Solid offensive numbers for a fourth line, definitely. Defensively, they got Ivan Provorov, their top offensive guy. Shane Gothisbehere. Definitely want more from him. That's for sure. I mean, I know he was hurt a bit last year, but they definitely want more offense from him if he's going to be staying around. Travis Sanheim, solid numbers. Phil Myers, definitely got the new contract, going to be playing a lot more. Eric Gustafson and Justin Braun as the third pair. Goalies, Carter Hart and Brian Elliott. All I can say is, if you're a Flyers fan, hope that Carter Hart stays healthy all year long. Because Elliott, though he had solid numbers last year, I mean, he can still be a solid goalie. But if it's playoff time, don't trust Brian Elliott. Thank you, puppy. Alright, injuries. Like I said, Isaac Ratcliffe, and then you got Kirill. Oh, God. Ustamenko. Both are injured currently. Scratches, Morgan Frost, who can play. He played some games last year. Connor Bunneman and Robert Hagg. And Hagg I can see being a fill-in in the event like Braun or Gustafson gets hurt, or just if one of them falters early on, Hagg may be playing instead, or may play instead of them anyways. Taxi squad, you got Andreoff, who's Oh, hold on 1 second. I gotta go grab a fork. That is not your fork. Give me the fork. Thank you. Sorry, the puppy stole my child's fork. Thief. But you got Samuel Morin, who is on the IR, so hopefully he'll get back to playing. He's a big kid, and I know they drafted him 11th back in 13, so they're hoping he does a lot more this year, I'm sure. Andy Andreoff, he's played games in the NHL before. Alex Lyon has played games. Not great numbers for the games he played last year, but Tyson Forster, like I said, I'm sure they'd love for him to make the team, but I don't think that's going to be happening this year. You got Prosser and Pouliot, who've definitely been NHL players in the past. Witherspoon was, I believe he's played some games. I want to say was that Toronto? No. I can't remember where he played. No, Columbus. I bet you it was Columbus. All right, in the minors, let's see, you got loaned players. You got David Kasha, who will probably be coming back. He played some games last year. Ironically, his only goal last year came against the Ducks when he was playing against his brother Andre Kasha. So that was a funny one. Let's see. Bobby Brink looked amazing in the World Juniors, so that's a guy to look forward to in the future. But he's in college, so he's not going to be playing this year for sure. Same with Cam York, captain of the American team that won gold. Amazing year in the World Juniors this year, so those are two to look forward to down the line, but not this year because they're both in college. So, not happening this year, but maybe next year, maybe at the end of the college season, you might see them. Especially York, who's a little bit older, 20, versus Brink's 19. All right, top prospects. Morgan Frost, 7 points in 20 NHL games and 29 points in 41 AHL games. You got Igor Zamula, a defender, 28 points in 28 WHL games, which tells me he got hurt. Cameron York, 16 points in 30 NCAA games. Bobby Brink, 24 points in 28 NCAA games. Tyson Forster, 80 points in 62 OHL games. I'm not sure why Forster's down that low, but that just tells you these four are expected to do a lot. All right. Others mentioned as top prospects, like I said, Isaac Ratcliffe, but he's injured, so maybe he gets healthy and plays again later this year. Wade Allison, a right winger. Tanner Lakzinski, sorry, a center. German Rubstoff, or German Rubstoff, a center. All right, I'm predicting they're gonna finish at the top of. They're definitely a top range team. I'm predicting they're gonna be at or near the top of their division for sure. Because I mean, their main opposition for top of that division, just looking at the East Division, I'd say would be Boston and Washington. Since news came out today of what happened with Tuukka Rask, why he went home when he did, which makes a lot more sense during the play-in round. And hopefully he can play the whole time. Hopefully his daughter is healthy and everything's okay there. Washington, definitely still a solid top team. Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh has more to do with their injury problems as to where they'll finish. I mean, the New York Rangers could be a dark horse. Islanders will be a solid team. Buffalo, depending on how those injuries, since I just lost Gergenschons for a year, we'll see how that goes. New Jersey is definitely going to be at the bottom. So I think Philly will finish somewhere in the 1 to 3 area, is my guess. So Flyers fans, Flyers have always been my number 2 team. I mean, back in the days with Legion of Doom line and that, I loved watching the Flyers. I still love watching the Flyers. And honestly, me and one of my best friends, we watch them all the time. We watch most Flyer games. I watch, of course, all the Ducks games. I watch a lot of the Sharks games because my family is all Sharks fans. But I love watching the Flyers. They're always fun. Their fans, very, very interesting fans. Not like Vancouver's Green Man fans, but they're the type of fans that you don't want to go in their stadium with another jersey on, that's for dang sure. There's quite a few like that, but that is one you are not going to get out of without something happening to you. So, stay nice, Flyers fans. All right. Other than that, thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to everybody else watching. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Help me out and hit that notification bell so you get notified when I drop a new video. And outside of that, make sure to like, comment, share, and I will see you all next video. There we go. Bye, everybody.